everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So we're done with the peacock's chest, I would say, and we're working on his wing. Yeah, I ended up working in a bit of a weird shape because I was following the blue and it made this sort of sawtooth thing where it changes into the white on the feathers on the wing. So yeah, not following my usual method, but still, as you know, trying to grow out from what's already stitched without skipping over and leaving gaps, even if some things are a little bit in a different order here. So I'm gonna work on filling in this bit here for a while, I think, and then I'll head back up to the top and start working my way down, because the feathers all sort of just naturally go that way. And yeah, so I've just started sloping my work that way because I just find it easier than changing colors and stuff and having as many live needles. It does kind of complicate things. So yeah, we're getting some more colors. This will be more of a confetti stitching session today. There's a lot more color changes in the area I'm planning, as you can probably see from looking at the pattern there. Yeah, the last few sessions was all sort of about 4 different colors. It did go by very quickly though, so yeah, we're past 29%, closing in on 90,000 completed. I think I have, including this one, 4 more sessions before the end of the month. So yeah, we'll see how far we get. Like I said, I've stopped making predictions because I was just stressing myself out. So, and I just moved my frame over again, probably for the last time this month. So yeah, we are still in a mega cold snap, like dangerous cold. Ugh. It's below -40, which is the same Celsius, or Fahrenheit. -40 is the same. So it's with the wind chill below -50. Yeah, it is like dangerous cold levels. And we actually had a emergency alert go out asking people to immediately reduce their non-essential electrical usage, because they said the power grid was basically at capacity, because of course with everybody being cold, furnaces are running, you know, almost continuously, and it was putting a lot of strain on it. And normally we import extra power when we need it from neighboring provinces, but BC was going through an unseasonal cold snap for them as well. You know, usually the cold front isn't that big, but this time it was, so it was basically covering the whole of Western Canada, so they didn't really have any power to spare like they usually do. So yeah, they asked people to not charge electric cars if they had them until later, to not use your block heaters if you could, you know, if you could avoid it. Turn off all non-essential lights. Said use microwave instead of your oven. Yeah, so and then my husband went out to get some extra gas, because we do have a generator just in case. It would be enough power just sort of to keep the furnace going, keep pipes from freezing, that sort of thing. And let's see how much of this color. No, not very much. And he said, yeah, on the drive to the gas station, that most people's houses were pretty dark. People had turned off their extra lights and stuff. So yeah, he said, like, it was kind of reassuring to see that, yeah, when they asked people to, you know, work together on this, most people did. He said there were a few people who had Christmas lights still running, which, first of all, it's January, and secondly, yeah, that's not essential usage, you guys. He said, well, maybe they weren't home. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Yeah, maybe they were at a friend's and they wouldn't be able to go turn them off, but yeah. And yeah, it was on the news. They said that there was an almost immediate drop a significant drop in power usage after the alert went out. So they thanked everybody for, yeah, pulling together on that. But yeah, I mean, we have had really bad ice storms before. But like I said, I think during those times it was more limited to our local area. And so there wasn't a danger of losing power. Whereas with this one, yeah, it was like unseasonably cold across like 3 provinces. Yeah, so yeah, there were a couple of cities that did lose power for a while, so it did get restored not too long after, thankfully, so hopefully everyone was okay. But, yeah. So at least this cold front is supposed to start to lessen in the next couple of days. Yeah. And then we'll go back to our normal kind of winter temperatures, which is around -20 Celsius. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because I posted a screenshot with the, you know, felt like -53 or whatever. Okay, I don't really want to end this, so I'm just going to do a tack stitch here and then park it. Because it's quite a long carry, and that just, if I tack it down in the middle, kind of keeps it more secure, less likely to get accidentally pulled and distorted. Actually, I'll probably unthread that for a while. I won't be getting to it. But yeah, anyway, I said most people, you know, complied with it. And yeah, like our normal is like -20, or even we're supposed to have like next week, you know, -9, which is like nothing. So, but anyway, yeah, I said I posted a screenshot of my, you know, feels like -53, and you know, I got a lot of course, like, oh my God, you know, how do you live with that? And then one of my friends was like, oh, do your kids still walk to school when it's like 70 degrees or something? And I'm like, that's 21 Celsius. That's like shorts weather here, right? Oh, like 22 degrees is exactly where I like it for Celsius for my, yeah, that's what we keep our house at. We did turn our furnace down a degree when they asked us to lower, so we turned it down a couple degrees when they asked us to lower the power usage. So yeah, but normally keep it around, yeah, 22. Yeah, my husband's boss, their car would not start, and my husband said it's because they have the way their ignition works, it won't work when it's below, say, like -25. I guess the car is, you know, designed and made for an area that doesn't get as cold as we do. Because yeah, that's the problem. A lot of these vehicles are built for like, yeah, much milder weather than we get. Oh goodness, pardon me. Yeah, fortunately, we turned off the block heaters for a while, and my husband forgot to turn it back on. Oh, that's 3836, wrong one. Oh, 3863. Yeah, I went to pull that out of the envelope and went, wait a minute, it's purple instead of this yellowy brown color. That can't be right. But yeah, he said he thought he turned it on, but he must have turned them off, because he turned them off for a few hours and then turned back on again and turned off again, you know, cycled them so that they wouldn't freeze solid. And gee, buddy, holy cow, slow down. It's not a race. My gosh. Anyway, yeah, and then he thought he turned them back on in the middle of the night to go to bed, and then when he came out, they were off. He said, I must have been so tired and out of it, I turned it the wrong way, but thankfully they had not frozen all the way through. So yeah, he tried. My car's lights and stuff still came on and that, so the battery was not completely, he didn't try starting it because it was really cold. But yeah, because if the battery completely drains and it freezes, it's done. Yeah, so, but thankfully that did not happen. Okay, yeah, actually what I'm gonna do, yeah, because there is a little bit of closing in because I didn't follow my normal way of stitching. Made this V shape, but that's okay. it's wild. But yeah, once again, when he started his truck, even though it's been plugged in, block heater, battery blanket, all that, oh, it was rough sounding when it started. Yeah, it's hard on it when it's this cold. And yeah, so his boss's car, it wouldn't start, and because it would not start for a couple of days, it's done. The battery is, yeah, it's frozen. He's gonna need it towed, and they said it's hours for a tow. And I thought, oh, you know, that sucks. And then he said, yeah, apparently in some of the major cities, wait time for a tow is like 4 days. So I'm like, okay, I guess I won't complain. But yeah, it's just wild. Because yeah, there's so many people in the big cities that were not prepared, and other cars are done. Oh dear. Yeah. I actually had my husband drive me to get groceries because it was so cold. Because I can drive in this cold, but it is tougher, and yeah. So he's just like, he had to run errands too, so he said no problem, you know. We'll just take the one vehicle instead of two. Yeah, I had a cousin who was in a different province. They weren't in danger of blackout, and she saw the news. It's like, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? You know, do you need anything? Do you have enough water in case you know? And I'm like, no, don't worry. I said, one benefit of being someone who has anxiety, I'm always prepared. Yeah, I always make sure there's plenty of non-perishable food in the house and water available just in case something were to happen. I don't let my car go below, you know, a half a tank of gas in the winter because, yeah, like we had in, I think it was 2017, whiteout just appeared out of nowhere. I was driving on the highway, and like literally within 20 seconds, it went from like being clear to just whiteout. I could barely see the taillights of the car in front of me. Like, it was just wild. I had never seen snow come in that fast. And I pulled into a parking lot, and we were at the store, and we kind of needed stuff, but I was afraid to get out of the car and walk across, because if somebody's driving across, they won't be able to see us, right? And it's slippery. So yeah, I just said, you know what, we don't need anything that bad. I'm not risking my life for it. So yeah, we sat in the car and kept the engine running for about 20 minutes until there was a lull in the storm, and then we headed home. Yeah, there were a few cars up on sidewalks and things because people had tried to keep driving and could not see where they were going. Thankfully, I didn't see any accidents, but yeah, it was wild. And then we got home, and then it picked up again like 2 minutes after we got home. So it's like, okay, phew, I'm glad it held off long enough for us to get home. Oh, there's a thing parked there. My gosh, and I even marked it. I'm just not paying attention. Anyway, yeah, and then like an hour after that, clear blue sky. You'd never know there was a storm. Like, yeah, weather's just wild. Yeah, like went from I couldn't see my neighbor's house across the street to clear blue sky within an hour. It's just, yeah. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Good. I was worried that had tied into an actual knot I wouldn't be able to undo, but thankfully it did not. Yeah, so I don't think this month, but we're going to get some tail feathers in this pass, which I am definitely looking forward to. Oh, it was such a pain. So we got our new TV boxes installed, but and it was a self-install thing. It was pretty straightforward, you know, pretty much unplug your old one, plug in your new one kind of thing. But then I made sure that when I ordered it, I checked the box that we would pay the $10 a month to be able to record, not just receive. And I got it all set up and everything, and I went to program in my recordings, and it said that I couldn't record. I was like, well, I know that and so called them, got put on hold for forever, never got to talk to a real person, going through all these menus. And then after sitting on hold for like 90 minutes, the Ready thing hangs up, it's like, thanks a lot, guys. So yeah, I was not happy. So called again, but while I was calling, and then we had tried to go on the computer to try to update things from there, but the option wouldn't show. So I called again, sitting on hold, and I suddenly thought, oh, wait a minute. I remembered the last time that I logged in on my tablet. For some reason, there were more options available there than there was on the desktop, which doesn't make sense. It's usually the other way around, right? Usually the mobile and stuff devices have less than the desktop. But anyway, it was there, and all I had to do was check one box and then say order now, and boom, it worked like 30 seconds later. And I was so annoyed. I was like, somebody just forgot to check a box, and that's why I had to go through this aggravation, right? Oh, and actually it isn't costing us anymore. Yeah, because we have been a long time customer, it charges us for us, but then they give us the $10 back as a credit on the same bill. So yeah, it works out too. We don't even pay for it. So, but at least that's all set up. Yeah. So that was kind of the most annoying part, and then having to sit there and reprogram in all my stuff. I mean, a lot of like new stuff, you can watch it on demand if you miss recording it, which is fine, but there's some stuff, like older stuff that I'm watching, that you can't. Like I've been working my way through Murder, She Wrote, because they have it on Vision TV, and yeah, they don't have that available on demand. You have to watch the reruns, and there's like, almost 300 episodes. And I said, so if I miss one, I would not be happy, because I would have to wait through the entire run again to get to it, right? Yeah. I said, oh, that was frustrating. When I was a kid, I was a teenager, I discovered MASH when I was like 17 or something. And of course, there's tons of reruns of that. Like every station practically had a slot where they would run it. And, but yeah, then one night we went away to visit people for the evening, and my mom wouldn't let me record it on the VCR because I can't remember why, but she wouldn't. I don't know. My mom always had weird kind of rules for things like that. And this was, back when you recorded things on a VCR from cable, because I'm old. But anyway, she wouldn't let me do that. So then I had to sit through, I'd missed the one, and this was like my first watch through, so I missed it. And so I watched, the rest of the run, but then I had to wait through, like the first 6 seasons to get to that one episode I missed again, right? Yeah, we're saying that when we were kids, like that was just the way it was. If you missed an airing of your show, that was it. You would have to wait for reruns, or sometimes they never showed it again if it was a show that got canceled, so you just missed it forever. Yeah. None of this on-demand streaming stuff. Yeah. Oh, I remember times too when they would have they would change the programming last minute, or maybe there was a misprint in the TV guide or something. And so like you would go to record something, and then later when you watch it, it was a completely different show or movie that had aired. Yeah, because I remember I was trying to record a Christmas movie one year, and we were going away to spend time with his family at Christmas. So I programmed it into my VCR. When it came back, it was like some old classic Western. Yeah, it was not at all what I thought it was recording. So, but yeah, same when we were kids. Like you could pay to get a TV guide, or you could wait and get the free ones. They would have them in racks at the mall. Yeah. You'd have to go through it sometimes and circle what you wanted to record. And of course, you could only record one thing at once. So if it conflicted with somebody else's show, oh, too bad, so sad. Yeah, you'd have to hope they'd re-air it so you could record it then. Okay, I'm gonna have a couple threads of this color, but let's start with one first. Yeah, and then they changed it now because my old machine, we had a primary machine and then a secondary one, and it would actually record this stuff like on a hard drive on the primary machine, and then you could watch it from either that or the secondary machine. And so if you recorded something, you could keep the recording forever as long as you didn't run out of space. Then it would start, deleting the oldest stuff to put new stuff in there. But I mean, we never got close to running out of space. I think the closest that was ever full was like 20%. Yeah. And that was when I had like quite a lot of stuff, like, 25 movies there or something. But yeah, this one is different because it's a cloud. It's not actually technically recording on the device. It's just sort of storing it. And you only get 90 days to watch a recording and then it will delete. And so that's one thing I didn't like as much. Yeah. That's one thing with everything being digital. You don't actually own anything, right? Yeah. That's one reason I still like to buy physical media, DVDs and CDs and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of times you don't even have the option. Like when we had to buy Excel, well, we had an old version, and of course it was too old and didn't, it was like a 97 or something. And so when we wanted to upgrade, went and I bought a box from the office supply store, and I didn't realize all it had inside was a little piece of cardboard with a code on it for you to download and activate it. And I was just like, wow, that would really suck if you're somebody who like lives somewhere without like a good internet connection and can't download it. Like, used to be, it came on some kind of a disc and you could, you still had to activate it with a key and everything, but at least you still had a copy. And nowadays, yeah, you don't have it anymore. Okay. Oh man, or yeah, same when we were kids, we didn't have lyrics websites. You sang a song wrong for years before finding out you were wrong. And I actually just had that the other day. I was watching a show, and of course I had captions on because I always do. And they were playing Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight, and the caption pops up and he's saying, "Oh Lord," and I'm like, I thought he says hold on. Like for years. I first heard this song when I was, like 15. And I could have sworn this way. So I'm like, that can't be right. I go and I Google it and turns out, yeah, I've been wrong this whole time. And so I posted on my Facebook status. I said, okay, so how many of you thought that it was hold on and not oh Lord? And I had a few people like, oh, I knew it was oh Lord, And then I had like one who was just like, what do you mean it's not hold on? What have you done? I said, yeah, that was pretty much my reaction. Like, that can't be right. Googled it and then, oh. Oh. Oh, dear. I said, this is almost as unsettling as when I found out that Seal was singing about being kissed by a rose on the gray, as in the color, and not grave. Yeah. And when somebody posted that, I'm like, no, that cannot be it. And I actually had the CD, I just never looked at the liner notes. And so I pulled it out and I looked, and yeah, it's in the official liner notes. He's saying on the gray. So, like, yeah, my life's a lie. Or like there's one they couldn't, there's Def Leppard song. And they say, it's not my first offense. It won't be the last. I would not change a thing except what's in the past. And I always said, so is it like accept with an A or accept with an E? And different sites give different answers. So I don't know. Because both actually would fit in the lyrics, right? Yeah, saying to accept what's in the past, or I wouldn't change a thing except for what's in the past, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Ugh. Or I said, I'll have times, you know, a song is playing while I'm driving my car, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what is that line of lyrics? I better look it up when I get home. Of course, by the time I get home, I've forgotten. And yeah, and then the next time it comes on while I'm in the car, it's like, oh yeah, I was going to look up what that meant, but I forgot, and I'll look it up this time, but I forget. And I said, just repeat that forever, right? Ugh. Okay, lots of colors here. This is it's gonna take a bit. Yeah, so because it's been so cold, it's been super dry. Definitely been more thirsty lately. And my skin sure has been. Yeah, I've been putting on lotion like there's no tomorrow. Ugh. But yeah, it's gonna break soon. We're gonna get some relief, so. Yeah, I remember in the 90s when I was a kid, there was the Ontario ice storms. People lost power for weeks. It was really bad. Yeah, because the ice could actually break the power lines. It would build up on the power lines, and actually if it got cold enough, they got brittle enough that they actually broke. And that's actually why now you don't see very many exposed power lines, especially in places that get this cold. They're all underground now to avoid that happening. But yeah, if I just hold out for another week or so, it will be mild enough that if I bundle up well, I'll probably be able to go walk outside again. Yeah, like I say, I do have my machine inside, but I prefer to go for a walk. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it's taken almost half an hour to do 33 stitches here, yeah, because there's been like a dozen colors, so yeah, that definitely slows things down. But I always say that detail will be worth it when we're finished. I will be happy with having done it, even if I get frustrated while I'm stitching it. Oopsie. There we go. Yes, we finished up the Mandalorian last night with Kiddo. He enjoyed it, so yeah. I think we'll move on to the Obi-Wan show next. Yeah, it was really cool because in one episode they had Luke show up and they used CGI to make him look young because it was a flashback, right? So, and it looked really good because I said, yeah, we saw when they did the remake of Tron a few years ago, they used CGI to put Jeff Bridges in looking like he did in the original movie. And it was good, but you could see that it was CGI. It's like, it just doesn't look quite right. And, but now I guess technology has, yeah, advanced enough that, yeah, you wouldn't know that it was CGI just by looking at it. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember there was a movie I remember watching, Elizabeth, the Golden Age, by with starring Kate Blanchett, and yeah, they had a bunch of CGI of a battle of ships, and again, it looked very good, but it still didn't look quite right. You could tell it was computer generated, but yeah, nowadays it's much tougher to tell. And of course, there's a lot of debate about artificial intelligence art, AI art. Yeah. I know Heaven and Earth Designs, who designs this one, initially they said no AI at all. But now they're saying that they will allow some, as long as it's only used like as a base for a human. So like it'll start with a sort of AI generated image, and then a human comes in and sort of, you know, adds elements, cleans things up. And they said they're going to allow that, but that those patterns that are created using that medium will be marked in case, because some people have extremely strong feelings about not using any, which I do understand, yeah, why there's a lot of, because they said the AI art does like take from other artists' work without credit, so I do understand why there's a lot of upset over it. And okay. Yeah, and it's not perfect. Like they said, it's really bad at doing hands and stuff. It'll end up with too many fingers, or fingers that look like thumbs, or thumbs that look like fingers, and yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, there was a meme one of my friends shared that had this, you know, get this extra sort of finger as a ring that has a finger on it, so that if it shows up in security footage, you can claim it's AI generated because it didn't get the hand right. Oh. Yes, I'm just sort of kind of filling in for a bit here, and then I'm going to come here because we got sort of, I think, these white feathers. They're sort of, this one kind of goes like this, and then another one sort of comes down like that, and they intersect. So yeah, I may just continue extending from this one and finish that feather, and then sort of start another one up here, or I might just fill this in part way and then start the top feather. I haven't really decided yet, but yeah, like I said, in my tutorial videos I always showed a steady diagonal sloping the one way, and I've kind of deviated from that a bit. And like I say, either one works. In the end, everything gets filled in completely. So, yeah, because there are people talking about, like, what's the best way to stitch? It's like the best way to stitch is the way you want to stitch. The best way is a way that you're happy with the result. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. I stitched another thread underneath with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's okay. I will. Okay, I just finished parking that, I think. Yeah, so I can undo it. I don't think I have done that in a very, very long time. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, the best way to stitch is the way you enjoy. Pardon me, and you're happy with the results, right? Yeah. Because there was someone who was like, oh no, parking is a must. I'm like, no, I object to that because plenty of people stitch without using parking. They don't like the hanging threads. And that's totally fine, you know? Either way works. As I said, I stitched an entire Heaven and Earth designs with no parking at all. I've changed my technique over time. I've seen people where they do the extreme where they stitch all of one color across the entire piece first at a time. So they'll start like with all the black, do all of it, then start with the next, you know, most used color. And yeah, I don't think I'd have the guts to stitch like that, because if you count one thing wrong, yeah, you could throw off a lot of stuff and not catch it for a long time. But I like watching pictures of people's work who do that. It looks really cool, like a picture slowly coming into focus, like in the old days with your cameras before point and shoot when you had to adjust the focus. Yeah. Yeah, I remember being allowed to take a picture with the camera was a big deal when I was a kid, because film, right? It's finite, and yeah, you had to make sure you focused it properly or you ended up with a fuzzy picture. And like very occasionally I've had a fuzzy picture with my phone camera because like I didn't hold it steady enough, but that's like maybe one picture out of, you know, 400 has ended up that way. Yeah. Or debating whether to take a picture because, you know, you didn't want to have to change the roll of film yet, or, you know, taking a picture to use up the last picture on the roll of film so you could put a new one in and stuff. Yeah. Something that the younger generation will not experience. Oh, and then we discovered, because we did not take a lot of pictures when I was a kid because, you know, it costs money for the film and then you have to pay to have it developed, and it degrades, right? And so we actually had to learn that you need to store it in the fridge to make it last longer, because yeah, we one time got a roll of film developed and it was mostly like shadows. Yeah, you couldn't really see details. Like I remember distinctly there was a picture of my sister holding a flower and you could really only see sort of like the outline of her head and her hand and not really anything beyond that. Like you wouldn't even be able to tell it was her, just that it was a person, you know? And yeah, and then, oh man, when we had my graduation ceremony, we had bought this big bulk pack of film from Costco, I think. And they had included a bunch of regular film, and as a bonus, they had given like a roll of film for making slides. And my dad didn't read the box properly, and he put in the slide film and took all our pictures, and we went to have it developed, and they're like, sorry, we don't develop slides. And so, yeah, all the pictures from my graduation ceremony, useless. Yeah. The only pictures I have are the ones that like the on-site photographer took. Yeah, so I have like my official grad photos, like the portrait ones that they sat you down for. I have those. And I have, yeah, a couple of me with a couple friends in caps and gowns that were taken by the school photographer. And that's it. Yeah, there's no pictures of me receiving my high school diploma. There's no pictures of me getting, there was a couple awards I got. There's no pictures of me receiving the awards. Oh yeah, I wasn't happy. But what you gonna do, right? Yeah, and then when it was my prom, I actually had to go out and buy one of those disposable cameras they used to have, because my parents didn't want me taking the family camera, because I mean it wasn't cheap, so I get it. I couldn't at the time afford to buy my own camera, so yeah, went and bought one of those disposable cameras. They were like 20 bucks or something, and it came preloaded with like one roll of film, and that was it. So yeah. Yeah, it's not like nowadays, right? Everybody's got a camera in their pocket. And the quality on cell phone cameras has gotten amazing. Like, I've taken pictures of my cross stitch, you know, the whole thing standing away from it. And when you can zoom in so far that you can see the individual stitches. You can zoom in till there's only like, you know, one big square in your screen and see the individual stitches. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Because, yeah, we had a digital camera when our son was little, and you can definitely see the difference in the picture quality now with those. If you zoom in, they get quite pixelated as opposed to, yeah, pictures now. Yeah, I have my sister and one of my cousins, they still like to do photography the old-fashioned way. So darkroom, film, you know, all that. Yeah. I'm gonna have more than one thread of this color, I can see. Yeah, I remember we had a camera, a film camera, when we first got married, and it jammed really badly, and you couldn't get the film back out of it. It wouldn't even wind the film back up. And eventually my husband had to take it in a dark room and break it open and roll up the film manually. I mean, it was a cheap camera, so. And I mean, at that point, if it wasn't advancing the film anymore, it wasn't going to work anyway. But yeah, we wanted the pictures from, you know, that roll of film. So yeah. And then somebody said afterwards, they're like, you could have just taken it to the film place and they would have done it probably in a dark room. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that, you know. Oh. Yeah, I remember a friend having the fancy film camera that automatically rewound the film at the end, but then it was really loud. So yeah, it kind of sucked. Like they were at some kind of ceremony and they didn't realize they took the last picture on the roll and then he could do this, yeah, all disturbing everybody. And yeah, they were looking like really sheepish, like, whoops. Oh. Yeah, actually, like I was saying, I still have, our wedding photos are not digitized. They're still negatives, which I keep planning to buy myself a scanner and digitize them. I just have not got around to it yet. Yeah, we finally digitized our home videos because we had we bought ourselves a camera when our son was born because obviously we knew we were going to want to try and capture those special moments. And it ran on little discs. Yeah, that's what it recorded to. And yeah, so eventually my husband went and scanned those all. So it was fun going through the old memories, some of which I'd forgotten. I posted one of, our son had this little electronic keyboard and it played a bunch of what you might call it, demos of songs, and he only liked the first one, which was this little march. And yeah, it was like 30 seconds long, you know, and he would play it and stand there and sort of dance to it. And then as soon as it stopped, because it would try to cycle through like all 20. And of course, as soon as it stopped, he'd just get there, push the button to restart it, stand there, dance to it, wait until it stopped, push the button again. I have this video of him doing it about 4 times in a row. There's one where he's like halfway into climbing up onto the couch next to me, and then it tries to go to the next one. He quickly scrambles down, runs over, and pushes the button again. Yeah, I think it wouldn't have been as get on your nerves if it had been longer than 30 seconds, you know? Oh, there we go. So I don't know if I'm going to get back to the, like I said, the other way of sloping, since the peacock is standing the other way. Yeah, everything's sloping the other way, so maybe a while. I find when it's smaller areas, then it tends to be easier to get it to stay in the one direction. But yeah, when the things are bigger, I just find I end up following the colors more. Much slower progress today. There's a lot of detail work here. Yeah, I discovered with that bright blue, we should have plenty. I was a little worried it was going to cut it close with me having enough thread, but yeah, I got further along and there should be no problem since it was all sort of in one big block. I got more stitches out of my thread than I would normally, because yeah, sort of 10 stitches all in a row takes a lot less thread than say 10 stitches, you know, scattered across several blocks. Oh, pardon me, my gosh. Dear. Okay, no matter what direction I go, let's just kind of see if we have any small bits to use up, because that would be just right. Oh yeah, looks like I've got quite a few, so that won't be a problem. least though it's cold outside, we have some sun, blue sky, so lots of good natural light today, which is always my preference. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cross as I go. I don't normally, but this way I don't have to add a second thread, and I won't have to leave gaps either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch, oops, around this edge, jump a little. Jump up here, do this one, then park it here. Make sure there's no knot there. No. Almost wanted to make one, but it didn't. Do that there. So I might just sort of go up to here and start filling in downwards, and then I'll sort of decide whether I want to continue carrying this sort of all the way along the edge of that wing, or whether I want to start doing that top bit next. Yeah, I've been less strict with my diagonal in this project. It's made for some interesting shapes to my work sometimes. Okay, no more further down, nope. Man, might even take me more than an hour to get to 100 stitches, because it's been so confetti heavy. Yeah, big change from my last few sessions, which have definitely not been. Goodness, pardon me. Okay, either way, I'm gonna have to stop. Yeah, this is only going to be long enough for these two. If that, tight squeeze, I think. Oh, that is the wrong one. Yep. Just realized it was the wrong color and it was not against my grid line like it should be. Okay, now it's time to grab this one. So I had a lot of live needles, but now I've reduced that. Yeah, this is too short to be really of any use parking it to the right, so I won't bother. Okay, so probably head back into this corner again. Start working my way out. I'm gonna tack this down halfway. It's a bit of a longer carry, but not too long. Nope, that is almost on the wrong row. Yeah, there we go. Once again, my grid line saving me from messing it up. Okay, we finally passed 100 stitches. Yeah. Took almost an hour. So yeah, like I said, there was a lot of different colors in this area. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need more than one thread of this color, and I think it's gonna be used a fair amount, so I'm gonna pull it, put it in my working tray. Yeah, I'm gonna need quite a few threads of that color too. You can see. Okay. yeah, the one nice thing is, since I've been having to change colors a lot, it's built-in breaks, I'm able to stitch for longer without getting sore. Okay. Carry this one over here. I think I have a short piece for these ones here, so start another one for over here. I think this is another color I'm gonna pull. Yeah. Got a lot of space in my tray right now, so I might as well. In fact, I've got quite a few short bits. But let's see. This way I can also use them up. Okay, did all that because I wanted to be able to sort of carry this one all the way along that edge uninterrupted. Yeah, since it's like a new thread. There we go. Sometimes that makes the knot pull apart, but sometimes that tightens it even more, so yeah. This time I got lucky. Okay, yeah, that's definitely one I'm gonna put in my tray now. 30, 47. So I can see more colors are starting to go like this, so I'll probably follow that slope again. Let's make sure I'm in the right place. There we are. Yes. A lot of very similar colors here, so I'm going to be careful not to mix it up. But yeah, I did say I was going to try and make some longer videos for you all once I was in an area that wasn't quite so many stitches of just one color, because I find that's harder. Oh, I think I parked something wrong here. Okay. Yeah. So this is here. Let me just see. No, maybe not. Nope, maybe not. Maybe I did put this in the wrong place. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. Okay. Counting from the grid lines rather than threads that are already parked, because yeah, if I put them in wrong, which I think, no, I think that is correct. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Brain is not quite quite functioning at optimum efficiency. 64. Okay, so I think I'll do these two, and then that will be where I take a break today. Oh, look at that, I've done 123, 1, 2, 3 stitches. So yeah, I'm gonna do these two here. Park that, and that'll be where I'll quit for now. Okay, there we go. So 125. Multiple of 5, kind of a nice place to stop. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.